Sikh Monologues.com/live. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we'll be performing a Bundish in Rock Leon. Hope you guys enjoy.
Love you, Aman. Aman!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the very first performance of the Sikh Monologues. I am so excited to be hosting this first performance here at my old high school, Flipper Prep. So a big thank you to the prep community for being so incredibly accommodating and supportive of this project. And now about the project. Everyone has a story. No matter your race, gender, religion, everyone has their words and experiences and thoughts. They wear these on them like a badge of honor, because that's exactly what it is, a badge of honor. And the Sikh Monologues project gives us the rare opportunity to hear the fears, the anxieties, the concerns, and the unfettered passion of lives across America. It began with a simple idea. What if Sikhs could tell their own stories? What if there was a platform for them to speak and to reflect on their own experiences? What if media didn't get to dictate everything we stand for, believe in, and look like? The answer to these questions became simple. Go out there and listen. Go record Sikh stories. And so I did. I traveled across the country for 4 months. I went to 15 different cities, and I interviewed almost 150 people. I stayed with family, with friends, with strangers, and with Sangha community. I now know my way around 20 gurdwaras in the US, and I can help you with any career questions you may have, whether it's tips on how to drive a cab, save the environment, or invest in the stock market. All you have to do is ask. But before I move on, I'd like to answer questions that may be lingering for a few of you. What exactly is a monologue? Well, according to Webster's dictionary, a monologue is a speech performed by one person that prevents anyone else from interrupting. And although tonight you will hear stories and pieces performed by more than one person, I adopted the term monologue because monologues tell stories. And tonight you are going to hear several stories from the people that I talked to and met with. You will hear about immigrants learning to navigate a new country, about children of diaspora navigating two cultures and one religion in a country that is home but not homeland, about a woman who decided to value her faith above anything else, and about a man who is asking us all to show little love. These stories, each and every one of them, have been influenced and informed by real people and real experiences that they have had in this country. But I do not claim in any way to represent the diversity of Sikh stories in America. I hope that I'm going to share with you a range of stories, but I don't claim that I can represent everyone. But in any case, I am so glad that you have come here tonight to listen to these stories. So a couple of house rules before we begin. First of all, I'd like everyone to take out your cell phones and switch them off. Our performers have worked really hard for this, and I don't want your ringtones messing that up, please. Thank you. This performance is really as much about you as it is about the stories that you heard tonight, so please engage. Also, if you need the restroom, it is out the door and right outside in the hallway. And if you need to get up during the performance for any reason, please wait until there's applause happening and don't get up during the performance. I don't want the performers to be disturbed or distracted, so thank you for that. And last but not least, can we all practice our snapping? Snap with me. Okay, awesome. So if you hear anything that speaks to you tonight, that you really like, that really touches your heart, please snap, just to let the performers know, like, hey, I heard you, and I'm with you on that note, that kind of thing. It keeps us going, so that's awesome. And now we begin with something fundamental. What is Sikhism? What brings this group of people together? I would ask this question to kids around the country. And this first piece is an answer to that question, without the politics, without the interpretation, and through the innocent perception of a child.
Sikhi, like, what do I think of it? Well, I've always been taught that Sikh means disciple or learner. It means that I believe in the 10 gurus and Guru Granth, like all the other scriptures that we have. More? I don't know what else to say. Maybe, I guess, it's basically how to be close to God and how to get rid of ego. And also other teachings. Especially respect. Respect is like my number one thing. It's just practicing so many intolerant and educated people. Educating them is such a great feeling to tell to them. We also like to hear about them. I really like that we're open-minded like that because we don't try to convert anyone or anything. Being sick means a lot to me. We come to Gurdwara because all my friends are there and they will teach me and keep me safe. My friends at Gurdwara are like my brothers because we see each other every weekend. I feel like I can connect better with my Sikh community because I can share anything that happens. It's more like family than friends, actually. Oh, and Seva. Seva is a big thing in my life. Like on some Fridays, we come to Gurdwara to serve food to other people in the area. It's called a food pantry, and a lot of different people come and get really happy when we give them food. So I like helping people and just making people happy. And of course, there's Punjabi class, which I guess I like. It talks about Gurmani and basic history. It's about Punjabi. Reading and writing it, I guess I like that. I come to Gurdwara because I think that's it. Well, I just want to say I want to follow Sikhi because it's really hard to be born in a Sikh family, and I want to keep the privilege I was given.
Sikhs have been immigrating to the U.S. since the 1890s. Leaving home takes tremendous amounts of risk, determination, and hope. Some people came in a straightforward fashion, but others, and most often, their journeys were convoluted and messy. I talked with people who came through Germany, Lebanon, and Nicaragua. Men and women who came in the backs of cars covered by blankets to cross borders. One woman waited 10 years to be reunited with her husband because she was waiting for her visa. School teachers became gas station workers just to make it work. And young women who had just been married came to this country and experienced intense loneliness. When you immigrate, you never know what decisions you'll have to make, what you'll have to give up on, and what you might have to compromise upon. This next piece is about a child of immigration.
It was the morning of June 3rd, 2009, a Sunday. The sun shines through the kitchen window, kissing my Dada's golden brown skin as she prepares aloo roti and scrambled eggs for breakfast. My Dadaji sits at the corner of the table confidently, mixing 2 packets of equal into his morning job. I stop and smile at the scene, inhaling this picturesque moment. Now this is all I've ever known. Family. Home-cooked food to comfort my belly as daylight dances across our white tiles, the warmth and wisdom of eyes that have seen so much more than high school locker rooms and Harry Potter movie premieres. We have a history. Realities that the ink in my pen sometimes can't handle. Sometimes I wonder if I'm simply a product of how messed up our world can be. That I would not be here today if it weren't for the refugee narrative of my grandparents. That my privilege is somehow justified by their past. And it doesn't always sit right with me. How my Dadima can make anything taste just a little bit sweeter because she battled against bitter pains her entire life. That my dad's sacrifices made it possible for me to thrive. I now understand why appreciation was one of the first words he ever taught me about. He said, appreciate this life. Appreciate these television sets, these laptops, and these PlayStation games that run at your fingertips. Appreciate the warm water that runs down your back. Allow the fresh air to caress your skin as you run across heat-kissed blades of grass. They cushion your feet as you play out and back. And I say thank you for this life. This life that was birthed from the crackles of my grandfather's feet and the blisters of my grandmother's hands from the sweat that ran down my mom's back as she worked her father's job in Punjab. This life that did not seem possible in 1972 when my father, my tate, and my grandfather were kicked out of Uganda as Idi Amin overthrew the government, and they became just another statistic of ethnic cleansing. And they were left completely unaware of where they would flee to and how they would take ownership of their lives. This life that succeeded and was earned. That stemmed from decades of loneliness and defeat, from the empty pockets that entered this country to the 12-hour workdays that have helped to build this life. I look at my little brother hopping around on one foot, avoiding the cracks in the towel that was supposed to break our mother's back. Ironically, it is her backbone that has kept us from breaking for so long, but he's too young to realize that. I wonder when he will be old enough to not worry about whether or not he should avoid cracked towels and will simply walk confidently across the roots that our family has planted into a strong, solid foundation. Our grandparents' smiles have always been so convincing. Our parents constantly shielding us from any of the pain that they ever really had to endure. And the roof over our heads always seemed to fit like it was custom built for the two of us. And all we knew were stories.
When I was in elementary school, I was told,
Get good grades so that I could get into the Gate Honors program in high school.
and so I did.
When I was in high school, I was told
Get a high SAT score,
so that I could get into a good college. And so I did.
when I was in college, I was told,
Get a high GPA.
and so I could find a good job afterwards. And so I did.
When I got a good job, I was told,
We need to find you a good husband.
and so they did.
Jasmine, Facebook ਨੂੰ ਖੋਲ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਾਚੀ ਦੇ ਭਰਾ ਦੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ.
When I was married, I was told,
Now double your size.
and so I did.
And when out came a girl, I was told,
You have to complete the family. Have a beta.
and so I said,
If you want the cattle to control, try the farms and the happy cows in California.
one of the 5 articles of the Sikh faith is to keep ish, or hair. Additionally, our 10th Guru, or spiritual leader, bestowed upon us the crown of the turban. The turban was meant to keep the headwear clean, but also as a means of saying that that the turban is not exclusive to royalty. Thus, the turban has become a symbol of both human equality and the Sikh identity. Sikh women, however, have often struggled with the concept of keeping all their hair, and especially with the decision to wear or not to wear a turban. This next piece is about one woman's journey as she navigates decisions regarding hair.
This is why I don't shave my legs. Take a look. Take a nice, good look. Not your normal vision of drop dead gorgeous, is it? Well, lucky for me, I just had to fall in love with the way I can run my hands through my hair. It's soft and smooth and airy. There's never a chance of growing stubble to make this experience anything less than perfect. My underarms, I'm not as much of a fan of that. I sweat after 2 minutes of any kind of exercise, including brisk walking. So the collection of aromas that nest in the hairs of my underarms are often not so ideal, but I can deal with it. I found men's deodorant to be a very powerful friend. Perhaps the best part for the money-conscious self within me is the approximately $120 I get to save every month by not having to subscribe to any waxing services, or the 3 hours of shower time I get to skip out on by not having to shave anything, ever. It wasn't always like this, though. It's not like I have no awareness of the outside world and the perfect packages of what women's bodies should look like. The first time it kind of came up was when we had some class in middle school, the age when everyone's hormones kicked in, and all of a sudden, libidos were raging, forcing them to decide what was hot and what was not. I remember sitting and looking at my hairy legs, my hairy hands, everything. And all the other girls were like perfectly smooth. I could hear snickers of guys commenting about my hair. I felt my hair burning on my legs. I just generally did not understand why I could not shave my legs or cut my hair and things like that. So I think that's when it hit me hardcore. And I went home that day and I wrote down and asked my mom why I just couldn't do it. My mom hugged me. She told me that I am a Sardani. I am stronger than my tears. She told me I can get through this, that she loves me, that my gurus love me. She told me to go back to school the next day with confidence. But she also said that if I do not feel comfortable in my own skin, that she would not force me to say no. So I went back to school the next day, and each day after that. 1 week later, my mother asked me again if I still wanted to shave my legs. No, I said. I am a Sardani. You love me, and the Gurus love me. She smiled. My dasar, my turban, was a totally different story. The more beautiful I started to feel with the hair on my skin, the more I started thinking about the hair on my head. I started to feel a lot of connection with the idea of holding an external identity to match my internal identity, to the thoughts and feelings and love for the Sikh faith that was slowly growing within me. That summer, I went to a Sikh camp and decided to start tying the star. Well, not tying it myself, but asking others to tie it on me. I remember one night asking one of my counselors to tie it 3 different ways before finding the style that made me feel secure and satisfy my inner diva. I felt like a superstar. I felt so good, walking around camp wearing my dasar proudly, and very thankful that I didn't have to worry about my chunni falling off my head every 2 minutes. My Sangha, my community, was supportive. I was on top of the world. It felt so good to feel whole, to feel like my outside matched my inside. When I came home, though, my parents were anything but happy. My mother was hurt. I think she thought that I would have asked her about this huge decision before making it. I know I should have. My dad became seriously concerned about my prospects for marriage, as if my only purpose in life was to get married. I didn't understand it. He's the one that pushed me to go to med school, to be independent, to be self-sufficient. But I guess he's always wanted me to settle down with someone, to stake my roots somewhere. He didn't have any of these concerns for my brother, though, who also wears the dasar. Sikh boys wearing the dasar and Sikh girls wearing the dasar should be, or choosing not to shave their legs, should be held in unison by the community. However, Sikh males are praised for upholding Sikhi, whereas girls are at the very least implicitly chastised. I pride myself on the fact that Sikhi believes in human equality, but I could not understand my own parents holding my brother and I to different standards of beauty. Since when was getting married all that mattered about? Since when was getting married all about how I looked? And for God's sake, why was no one asking me if I knew external features correlated with a more developed inner morality, a closeness to my faith? Why was no one asking about that? Look, I didn't grow up thinking I was going to wear the star. That's not how I imagined myself when I looked in the mirror. But it kind of just happened, and it feels right. And I'd rather feel right with myself than just hold back to find a husband or to please my parents' version of a beautiful woman. In the end, I know I'll be okay. Look, I do care about how I look. I perfected the smoky eye. I realized that my body is pear-shaped, so I always dress accordingly. I started working out 4 times a week, partly to stay healthy, but also to maintain in vanity the way I look. I wear it at the star because that's when I feel most beautiful. It's so much more than a piece of cloth on my head. It's a ticket to identity, to confidence, to being whole. That's when I feel most beautiful. It's my way of expressing my inner feminist, my way of saying no to accepted beauty standards, to the hairless, smooth, light-skinned women, and to my parents' own version of beauty. The world has become a place where I am the sovereign. I decide what's beautiful based on how I feel, not on how I look. And right now, I feel like a queen.
Love is an illusion we create for ourselves. We picture beautiful perfection and constant laughter and smile. And in the confines of our mind, love shines with light and optimism. This next piece is about the unadulterated hope that young men and women have when they picture love for themselves.
She can't be too interfering because I like my independence. But I want to respect what I respect and have the same values. Values are important. Respect, understanding.
I would want to be with someone that can keep up with me and offer support to me, whatever my goals are. The plan right now is to finish up my master's, go back and get a job somewhere in North Carolina.
I think I'd want her to be Indian. My mom prefers her to be Sikh. I know my dad doesn't say anything. I prefer at least brown. Actually, probably Sikh too. Just because I'm proud of my Sikhi and who I am. And I want that to continue in my family. I also think that shared upbringing would help in the future.
And I'd like to be with someone who is creative because that opens your life up to so many more things. It makes you more open-minded and innovative. And I think relationships could use that freshness.
She definitely has to be family oriented as well because let's be real, we're Indian and it's never about 2 people getting married. It's about the entire family. Doesn't matter if one person's from Chandigarh and the other person's from Ohio. Every family member will find a way to play a role in your life.
I'd also want someone who has had similar experiences in their upbringing. I want my kids to be exposed to Sikhi. Whether or not they choose to follow it, I want them to be exposed to it. And that's exactly why I'd like to be with someone who is Punjabi. The idea of continuity and how in a marriage, it's not just the 2 people. It's the 2 families coming together.
And she has to be honest.
And funny, I hope.
I know it's a lot. It's not a checklist or anything.
Just some things I've thought about.
And I want a friend in this life. You know, love matters, but beta, after love, friendship is the most important.
I just hope I can get along with him for the rest of my life. That part scares me the most. I just hope I never get bored.
I met someone a few months ago. Well, not exactly met, but re-met. We kind of grew up together, going to camps yearly, and would hang out maybe 2 or 3 times a year after that. But we lost touch after college.
I recently visited my uncle in Houston and went to some family friend party. I saw him again for the first time in years. I had completely forgotten about him and how much we had gotten along as 15 and 16-year-olds running around camp. His name is Sean. After the party, he talked to his mom. His mom talked to my uncle, and now we're talking.
I don't know what to think. She's no one I ever thought I wanted. She's this crazy adventurer, and I'm more of a homebody.
He doesn't like art. He appreciates what I paint, but cannot stand when I ask him to check out someone else's work.
She wears this really heavy eyeliner sometimes that makes her look like a raccoon.
He eats with his mouth slightly open,
She always wants to split the bill.
but he always remembers my mom's birthday.
And she lets me have my alone time on Sundays.
So it really makes me question, should I focus on finding someone that fits those checklist items, or is it really about personality? Should I settle?
Doesn't feel like I'm settling.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this checklist now.
This next piece is about the real, unedited experiences of Sikhs across America.
You stand out no matter what.
There was always a feeling that I am different. People did not exactly stare, but I could feel it.
One time in third grade, someone cut my hair because, actually, I don't even know why. I came home crying. I was really sad.
I wear a turban. That does not mean that I beat up my wife. I have a beard. That does not mean that I cannot have a normal conversation with two decent people. I look like this. That does not mean that I can only work at a 7-Eleven. That does not mean that I can only be a cab driver.
There is a severe want of identity. What is a Sikh? What does it mean anyways?
There was this girl in high school who said it was disgusting that I did not cut my hair. And that's why she wouldn't be my friend.
Even when you're flying in a plane and the way the air hostess talks to you and talks to a white person, there is a slight difference. Either you accept it or you feel angry about it. I don't complain, that's the way it is.
I was in downtown. There was this black kid. He comes up to me and says, "Are you going to blow up this building?" I was on the phone, so I told him, "Give me a second." He goes into the coffee shop, and I go in after him. And I asked him what he wanted. I think he got a little scared because he ran out. I thought it was pretty funny.
One time in college, this guy was pointing at me, kind of like, look at this girl, look at her face.
I was a professor. Sometimes I would walk into a classroom and the first look on the student's face was that of shock. Who is this guy with a turban? In the beginning, even some of the professors would ask me, "Hey Jazz, when are you going back?"
I've gotten stared at the gym. I've gotten looks because of the hair on my legs. But I just brush it off. If it wasn't my hair, it could be something else.
People would look at me differently because of my beard. They'd say, "He's in high school. He looks like he's in his 20s. Why is he in high school?" So I started trimming it down.
There are three categories of people: biased, uninformed, and misinformed. We have to look out for biased people. Misinformed and uninformed want to know something. Biased people, they do not want to know anything. They just want to get into an argument.
I was scared for my brother. I feel like girls don't get ridiculed as much as boys do. I'm scared and nervous for what he's going to have to face.
People perceive me as Muslim. When they get into my cab, the first thing they ask is, "Are you Muslim?"
I was called terrorist.
Foreigner.
Osama,
security bleach.
Politically, we are not even on the radar.
my son was told by the other kids that girls have long hair, guys don't have long hair. So he started to act like a girl.
Discrimination is everywhere in the world. Every side, everywhere.
I cut my hair because I was the only kid with a patka at the time. Maybe if there were other kids with a patka, it would have been easier. My mom started to cut our hair at home. At least, the teasing had stopped.
Immigrant parents do not want to see their children as American. It's like, what were you thinking when you moved to a new country? They aren't going to carry their old country with them.
I think people are more forgiving in terms of accepting color. But when it comes to the turban, they are totally not accepting.
My public image, I guess, my reputation, I worry about how people perceive me, how they look at me.
I was maybe 12 or 13 years old when I stopped going to church. I was kind of burnt out. That's when I started searching for other things. That is when I found Sikh.
I was scared. I know where to draw the line, but I was still scared. I didn't want people thinking less of me if they found out I was partying or dancing or something else.
When 9/11 happened, I was in Ohio. The office people would call me and say, "You should start wearing a cap. You shouldn't be wearing your turban anymore." At the time, I wore a smaller turban. It even looked like a Taliban turban. My wife told me the same thing. So I stopped for a little bit, but I went back. I knew they were just trying to look out for me.
My dad, he used to work at a gas station. He was in this country for 20 years before he was shot. My dad and my uncle died at the same time in Oakland. My Tayaji, his son was in India when that happened. He was only 7 months old. He had never seen his dad. He will never see his dad.
I don't think the Sangat here understands the implication of the shooting, to tell you the truth. To them, it is just another Gurdwara. They come here on Sundays, do the usual stuff, but they do not accept this as home. It hit hard for the people, those who were born here and raised here in America. We think like Americans, we feel like Americans.
In 2004, I was given a boarding pass. These weren't the days where you could print your own boarding pass at home. As I'm walking away from the counter, the guy calls me back, and he's got this look on his face. And he says, "Sir, I have a new boarding pass for you." He hands me the new boarding pass, and it's got an X on it. And then he says, "Sir, you've been randomly selected for additional screening." I knew what he was up to.
They used to call me the French boy because of my long hair. It used to bug me a lot. I did not even tell my teacher a thing. I had not heard of bullying before, but this was the first time I had experienced it.
I was studying at a Borders, and I went upstairs to go use the bathrooms. And these kids started yelling, "He's gonna blow up the bathroom! He's gonna blow up the bathroom!"
Sometimes it's not even the color of your skin. It's just rude girls. Girls will be girls.
I was going for a walk, and this kid started following me. And he started yelling, "Obama! Obama!" I wasn't sure to be angry or to laugh, because I think he was trying to say Osama, but he kept saying Obama.
I was the only Indian girl at my elementary school. So when the teachers would teach about India, they would ask me if they're teaching the right thing. And I had no idea. I knew nothing about India. I've never even been there. I knew just as much as the Mary next to me.
I have to live for myself. Because the people who may judge me are not going to be the same people with me at the end of the day. I can care so much about people. It can become damaging.
I think the biggest struggle is me. You want to do something else, try to do something else. The people around you, society around you, try to define your life. It wants you to raise yourself according to them. And that is the biggest struggle with my family, with my parents. So you can either follow society or you can follow your heart. I'm trying my best to follow my heart.
I think it is humanity. It is not Sikh versus Americans or others. People are discriminating because they are prejudiced. I think it is an issue which is lacking awareness. And
We are all human beings. We're not born to hurt anyone or to discriminate. Then why do I not feel at home in my own country?
This next piece is about aunties and how sometimes the Gurdwara, the Sikh place of worship, is not always a place for spiritual growth.
Sweetie, our husbands have both gone to the Gurdwara. Let us drink some cha and gulab jamun and talk about our zindagi. Cha, hey gulab jamun. I think I just have the cha. Huh? Why just the cha? You love gulab jamun. What is happening? Pinky, can I be honest with you, or do you want me to do the truth? You know, sweetie, you can tell me anything. Tell me now. I will never say anything behind anyone's back. Okay, good. Pinky. Any gulab jamun, that's why they are the worst. How could you say such a thing? I love my recipe. My kids love my recipe. Oh my God, I think you're too old. I think your taste buds have gone kaput. If you want to talk about bad gulab jamun, let's talk about dimples. She truly has the worst langar ever. Just no tadka, no masala, no mirch, no flavor. Pinky, we really are best friends. The best of friends. She truly is a bad cook. She cannot make anything. But we could talk about langar anytime. Did you hear about Dimple's son Jusraj? He did not even get to one dental. Ikmini!
Just not. You used to be such a good kid. You used to shine bright like diamond. And then you went on to college and started hanging out with God knows who. You know, one time I saw him at the mall. Which one? And I saw him at the mall, and he was hanging out with some white girl. And her dress didn't even go down to her knees. What did? What did? Oh my God. nowadays, boys and girls are just everywhere together. If it were up to me, get married first, then have all the boyfriends you want.
That is the best. What he was saying is the best. What way is God? He needs to not fully around. He's 25. But he thought, it's too much. He needs to get married now.
But how can he get married if he doesn't even have a career? He still works with his dad. You know, like how can he support a wife and a family?
That's true. Pinky, can I tell you something?
Well, you can tell me anything. I never talk about anything behind anyone's back.
I heard from Bubbly's sister that Raj
No. Don't say it.
is dating Sonia.
Hi. This is a mistake.
That's what I said.
Oh my God. Just compare his family status to her family status. He practically comes from royalty. Businessmen, doctors, engineers, electrical engineers, everyone. And she's a truck driver's daughter. Kids these days just have no respect for their parents
They
anymore.
don't even go to the same Gurdwara. So liberal.
Kids these days are just so liberal. When I was a kid, my parents never let me hang out with kids outside of the Gurdwara. And even when I talked to boys at Gurdwara, I would get thumped all the time. That's right.
Me too. Oh, Pinky, do you remember to tell Faisal to put your name in the ass? Because you cut the piyaj for the knuckle. And she took your picture.
Oh, you remember? She understood the That was the first thing I did when I came to Gurdwara this morning at 7 a.m. for Shasti Bar.
Job was on.
Okay, sweetie, we have now finished our job. It is time to go back into the bar hall and listen to the kirtans.
Chalo. But I don't even like coming here anymore. Right? Too many hypocrites. Too much. I come here for positivity, but all I get is negativity behind my back. What is this? I don't know.
Sweetie, I truly understand where you're coming from. But today is a very special occasion, huh? By Sun Singh ji, Dr. Principal Singh is here. She's the best. Sorry. We must go and listen to them.
Okay. Oh, do you hear that? Waheguru being from to the tune of kuch hota hai.
That's like my favorite tune ever, you know.
Mine too.
This is why we're best friends.
The bestest friend.
Bestest.
Okay, let's go. Oh wait, do you see that laddu? I just saw one laddu. Is that okay? I feel like people call me Moti Janani.
You know, sweetie, people do really call you Moti Janani. But that's okay. You're a beautiful, confident woman. You can eat 5 laddus if you want.
I will.
People will say what they want.
Yeah, you're right.
That's it.
So true.
Take a look to your left, and now look to your right. 1 in 4 women in the United States have reported experiencing violence by a former or current boyfriend or spouse in their lifetime. For the South Asian community, these numbers are worse. Domestic abuse happens. It is real, and it certainly happens within the Sikh community. This next piece is about the harsh reality that women around the world face every day.
I think I was in shock the first time it happened. This wasn't like him. This wasn't the man I married. This isn't something that happens to me. I went to bed that night, not knowing how to feel. My left rib was hurting, so I took a couple of Advil. It felt better. I still slept next to him. I don't know where else I could have slept. I don't know if I realized what he did was wrong that first time. We were arguing about where to send our son to school. I let it go. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want my kids to know anything. This was their father. I didn't want my mother-in-law to know. I didn't want to create tension in the house. It happened again and again. I found myself trying to find excuses to stay at work longer. I was working as an office manager at a publishing company. My kids could stay at school until 6 o'clock. I used to pick them up early so that we could spend time together. I'd take them home, pour them into a glass of milk, cut them up hair. But now, they were safer at school. I was safer at work. I would take the long way home, even though I knew I'd be late for making dinner. I didn't care. I needed to be out of the house as much as possible. Do you know what it's like to feel unsafe in your own home?
I realized what had happened soon enough. But what could I do? He's my son. I suppose he has the right to discipline his wife as he sees fit. I didn't want to interfere. I don't know how he'd react. I didn't even know how to approach the situation. The first time I heard she was being abused, my faith died a little inside. I went to her. Do you want to leave? I can get you to a safe place. I can take your children out of danger. Let me help you. Please, let me help.
I wanted to leave. I never saw myself facing this. Never in 1,000 years. I don't know what triggered it in him. I never felt unsafe when we had first got married. Before, he would only say or do things after the kids had gone to bed. But now, he didn't seem to care whether they were around or not. They were so young, 7 and 10. I started to fear for my children. What if he went further? What if he did something to them?
She wanted to leave. So badly, she wanted to leave. She'll be fine. She has to be fine. She has no one else here. Her parents are in India. She has to stay. We're her only hope. I'll try talking to him, but she has to stay.
I left. I had to. I know I'm alone here. I know my parents might have not approved. I know all of this. But I had to leave. For my kids, I had to leave. I went to my Sangha. They were more supportive than I The women, they understood somehow. When we went to court to file a restraining order, the judge told us, the most common last name we hear in the city for cases in domestic violence is Singh. Singh, our name, the Guru's name, Singh, strength, courage, power, integrity, dignity. Singh, abuser, rapist, suppressor, manipulator. I couldn't believe it. One day, I woke up and she was just gone. My son was in shock as well. I know he loved her. He didn't know how this happened, how it became so bad. But I suppose she did what was best for her. I don't know how she's doing. I don't think she should have left. Maybe we could have fixed everything. I don't know why some men feel they have the right to suppress and overpower women, verbally or physically. I don't think this problem is unique to just Punjabi men, but this is the community I know. I help where I can. I see it too often, but I cannot force anything. I can't believe so many women go through this. At first, I stayed for my kids, but eventually, I left for them. It wasn't. I had to start my life over again. They don't tell you these things when you get married. They don't tell you anything. They don't tell you that America is not the answer to everything, that a man is not your ticket to happiness. But I got out. And I'm going to make sure more women get out. We should not be afraid of our success. We shouldn't be afraid of what our Gurdwara summits might be. We are women, independent and strong. We are mothers of children who deserve safe upbringings. We will raise our children by ourselves, rather than subject them to subordination. The pain I thought only existed in hell. We are stronger than we think. We are bolder than we know. We will fight back. We are coming.
Don't talk too loud.
कुड़िया ने शोभा नहीं दूंगा
Always look pretty.
तेरा किसी ने नहीं ब्याह कराना
Tell Fear to wash the dishes.
हाँ तो कुड़िया का काम होता है
Mom, do you like my dress?
मैं कपड़ा काम पे गया सी
Don't forget the fair and lovely.
जे तू काली हो गई है ना मुंडा लबना औखा हो जू
Can I go out to dinner with my friends?
हाँ अपने छोटे वीर ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਜਾ
I want to join a sport.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਰੋਟੀ ਤੇ ਸਬਜ਼ੀ ਬਣਾਉਣੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਕੰਮ ਨੇ
Stay away from boys.
ਤੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਮਾਂ
Don't get fat.
ਤੇ ਪਤਲੀਆਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਸੋਹਣੀਆਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ
I want to go to law school.
ਫਿਰ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਦੋਂ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ
Sometimes I wish I was a boy.
ਹੈ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ This last piece is about one man's struggle with a faith that preaches love, acceptance, and equality, but doesn't take the time to create that within our spaces of worship.
I'm trying to tell you what I left that conference earlier. But I've never really felt at home in the community of people to which I'm supposed to belong. I want to tell you that I've never really felt sick enough to feel comfortable with my own people. And growing up, being sick meant kids bullying me at good blood, and families outcasting mine because we weren't the right caste. My family and I immigrated to Ohio when I was in the 6th grade. Until then, the smells and colors and understanding of the Himachal Pradesh was all I knew. No. Home was speaking Hindi. Home was going to the Gurdwara every day after school because that's what my dad did, and I wanted to do just like him. But Ohio was different. Ohio was about the super sick and the super not sick. I was somewhere in the middle, unacceptable for any. Ohio didn't understand my English history. The fact that I knew Hindi dubbed me as a confused child who didn't know his roots. I, the honor student, was apparently confused. I grew up reading Japji Sahib every single morning. I awoke to the sound of Kirtan playing in my house every single morning, and when it wasn't on, I felt very uneasy. These were the sounds and the rituals and routines embedded within me. So I grew up longing for more Sikh friends. My parents taught me Sikh. They taught me to love our faith, find strength in our teachings. Naam japo, kirat karo, pant japo. Remember the divine, work hard, share your money, wealth, knowledge. I was never taught about ego or judgment. So when the egos of the aunties and the uncles and the kids I grew up tried so hard to put me down, I turned my back on Sikh. Sikh meant hypocrisy, judgment, exclusivity. Sikh meant being asked what I was even trying to do when I was serving hunger or putting away shoes. Why would you want to do seva if you didn't keep your hair? As if selfless service is something exclusive to Sikhs who keep their hair. As if selfless service is something exclusive to Sikhs at all. Sikh meant aunties gossiping so much that my mom stopped going to Gurdwara completely. Because for her, it was easier to talk to God in private than in halls filled with masked religiosity. Sikh meant my sister cutting off her hair. Because hey, why keep something for a faith that didn't know how to love you back? Sikh meant uncles caring more about money and power and about the sustainability and welfare of our houses of worship. Sikh meant hurt. And it meant pain. And memories of feeling unwanted. Sikh meant that as much as I wanted to be a disciple of this world, I was too jaded by judgmental Sunday to do so. When I left Ohio for college, I left broken. And I left completely devoid of faith. I was a vessel of spite. But like a giant tidal wave, faith came crashing back at freshman orientation. 4 years I spent at an institution nurturing my confidence. And you know what? It was my white friends and my black friends, and my Catholic friends, and my Muslim friends that built me back up. They gave me the confidence to follow the values on which I was raised. And I discovered something. That it wasn't the faith that I found corrupt, but the people I had met within it. What I'm trying to tell you is that I turned my back on the Sikh community. And now I'm turning towards Sikhi to find faith in that very community. So this past January, I went to a conference I thought it would be brave. I thought it would be a valiant effort. Face your past. Prove it to them all. Square! I left after one day. I left after one day because there was too many things. Too many people were going to close doors on me. Too many people were going to laugh down at me, judge me by my hair. I left after one day because I was too afraid to find out if things had actually changed or not. I haven't been friends with another Sikh person in 10 years. I'm a grown man, too afraid to face the people who look like him. Because for me, fear is a sword that attacks unexpectedly. An auntie's dirty look, an uncle's arrogant tone, a friend's judgmental stare. But now I realize that fear is something we create for ourselves, that we use to attack ourselves over and over again while we hold progress at arm's length. What I'm trying to tell you is that hurting someone doesn't just happen when a white boy pulls off a brown nose marker. That there are things our own community does to the people within it, with words, with judgment, with hate, that can't just be easily forgotten with time. I was robbed of the comfort that every boy and every girl deserves when they go to Gurdwara to Matate, to learn Japji Sahib, to do seva. Bullying hurt me bad. And it took me a decade. But now I realize that I can't judge my entire community based off one Gurdwara. Because that would be judging. And you're sick, just like me. You sat here, listening to me. The least I can do is listen back.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. It really means a lot to me and to the entire cast that you took the time to come out today. I can't describe the feeling I have right now. This was a figment of my imagination just a year ago, and tonight, it's become a reality, and it's really, really cool that all of you came to share that with us. Before we end, I just wanted to recognize a few people who made this possible. First of all, the organizations that supported me from the start, the Sikh Spirit Foundation, the Spunk Network, Jagada Movement, Salda, MedTech, each of these organizations has supported me through financial means, through providing transcription services, through lending me their listservs, and it's really, really made this possible. I'd also like to recognize Flintridge Prep, my high school, for being so incredible and encouraging this project. And shout out to Mr. Lewis, who did all our lighting. And also, I don't know if you're here, but Vlad, Kim, Nicole, Rita and Mr. Bachman, who were behind me 100% from the beginning, so thank you to all of you. Also, thank you to all of you, my casting crew. They dedicated the last month to me, and I cannot be more thankful for the hard work that they put in this, and I hope you all had as much fun doing this as I did directing you. And I'm almost done. This is really important. Thank you to my parents. My mom's up here. Happy Father's Day. I hope this is a good present. They thought I was sort of weird and crazy when I came to them with this idea to defer graduate school, to take a year off and travel by myself, but they let me do it. So thank you to both of you. And last but not least, again, thank you to all of you for coming out. And I have a request for you, Dee. Some of you have been randomly chosen for filling out a survey. This is the first Sikh Monologues performance, and I want this to go, I hope this is only the beginning of its journey, so I would really, really appreciate it if you have a survey in your brochure, or if you'd like to fill one out, we'll probably have extras outside. Please fill it out. I really want to know what you liked, what you didn't like, and what we can improve upon, so this performance in the future can be the best that it can be. And with that, there are snacks outside. Please enjoy, and thank you for coming.
Broadway.
So without taking too much of your guys' time, on behalf of the cast, and as you can tell, Justine has no idea this is coming, we all wanted to say a very deep thank you. Every single one of us up here would not be part of this experience that has opened our eyes in so many ways without Justine. She is our writer, our director, our producer, our proud partner, which really is every single one of us has continued to say that this experience has enriched us so far beyond any words can express, and that's all thanks to Justine. So we can hear it one more time.
On behalf of all the parents and grandparents, your uncles and your aunties in the audience, as well as wherever they're watching on live stream in the world, we want to thank you for bringing to light in a beautiful way and in a new creative art form the issues of our very own dear community. We have known them deep within our hearts, talked about them and gossiped about them. Thank you for beautifully presenting, and thank you for enlightening all of these youngsters and giving them a new platform to carry this on and bring such issues to resolution of these issues. God bless you, and thank you so much.